And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. The main event live from the AO Arena tomorrow night here in Manchester and on Sky Sports box office. The two men, the two former champions at the top of the bill, scheduled for 12 3-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Promoted by Ben Shalom and Boxer in association with Wasserman Boxing. Introducing first to the scales. He stands 5'9" and 1/2 inches tall. He comes to us with a professional record of 32 victories versus 3 losses, with 19 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And he fights out of Liverpool, England. He has worn the British, the Commonwealth, and the WBO World Championships around his waist. Here is Liam "Beefy" Smith.
Anna, you know what? I'm surprised that they actually called Liam out first. I wonder if that was that's part of the negotiations. Who's going to be called out first?
Probably all part of the mind games that have been going on. There's been plenty of back and forth on social media, plenty of back and forth face to face. You know, it's all part of it, isn't it?
Official weight 11 stone, 5 pounds for Liam Smith.
Looking good for Liam Smith. Do you think, George, do you think Chris has managed to get in Liam's head at all?
Oh, it's tough to tell. It's really, really tough to tell. I would have thought he definitely would have before when the fight was first set. But coming up to the press conference yesterday, I'd say it was almost Liam Smith got in Eubank's head.
And that's what everybody said, and that's what you expected it the other way around. Listen, both fighters are raw. Both fighters are burnt a little bit from yesterday. They just want to get on with the fight. Chris has been introduced to the north right now, but you can hear the crowds booing.
And someone like Chris Eubank Jr., there are a few boos here, but he expects that, and he enjoys that. I think he likes it.
Some fighters feed off it. Some fighters enjoy the boos. They love the boos.
Look at him, just lapping it up, saying, bring it on, let's have it. Well, it is good to see that Chris is supporting the LGBTQ community with an armband there on his right-hand side after, well, rather unsavory comments yesterday. Good to see. There has been a bit of talk in the build-up about Liam Smith. He's coming up to middleweight, and the size difference. Do you think that'll be an issue?
Well, I mean, he's giving away a lot of natural size.
Official weight 11 stone, 5 pounds for Chris Eubank Jr.
But Eubank, who has fought at super middleweight, now down at middleweight, how tight is he at the weight? I mean, he talks about weight a lot, and it might be a defining factor because anyone can make a weight, Anna. You know, anyone can get down to weight, but can you be strong and perform at your best at that weight? That's the difference. And Smith would have had a lot more leniency now moving up a weight. You know, he probably just hasn't had that cut that he has to make at the end of camp to get down to light middle, whereas Eubank would have definitely have had a
Do you not think
cut.
he looks tight? I'm looking at Chris, and Chris looks tight. Looks really tight. The weight really slim and gone, which is the first thing I saw when he stepped out. I just thought he looked really down.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a naturally very lean guy. It's just that he doesn't carry a lot of body fat. And then that's a great thing for a fighter, but also it doesn't mean you've got a lot to play with when you've got to strip that back. So if he is that tight at the weight, you know, sometimes your body does need a lot of fat, you know, a little bit of fat running around it so that your punch conditioning is there, so your energy reserves are there, so that you can swell after a weigh, and when you take in the fluid and then rehydrate with the carbs so that you're fit for fight night. We have to wait and see if it plays a factor, because we will see that fight night if one of them is struggling with the size difference of the other.
The AO Arena is sold out here in
It's a beautifully poised fight that so many people are torn on who they think is going to win. They're chopping and changing by the day, which is understandable. Just put into context, George, how much is at stake here?
Well, it is like a career-defining fight for Liam Smith. I'm sure he won't mind me saying it. You know, Eubank is a huge name, so if he beats Eubank in a pay-per-view contest on Sky's box office, then that opens the door for him to have a mega fight next. Eubank is on the line as well, because if he loses, you know, he's have to go for another rebuilding phase, so he has to win because he wants to keep, you know, that winning run going and stay in the A side of these pay-per-view cards. I'm sure he has a strong desire to become a world champion, become a middleweight world champion, and if he loses tomorrow night, then, you know, that's going to suffer serious repercussions where his ranking is going to be affected, you know, his chance of being in line for a mandatory affected.
This really is a who's going to break first, isn't it?
I never used to like these. I always thought, oh, someone please come in with a... There we go. Someone's coming in with a break.
What goes through your head out of interest when you're doing this?
Well, I was worried about going boss-eyed because you're that close to someone's eyes. Where, like, don't stare too intently.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen,
But it is definitely a fun bit, Anna, where you do really sense the measure of someone. And it's not always the obvious things, you know, who looks away first. It might just be when the shoulders loosen, you know, are they so tight where there's so much energy going into this stare off? We don't know. Both of them look super smooth from where I'm sitting. I can't tell who won that face off, but they're both definitely up for this fight.
George can't tell you when that face off. Have you got any idea who would you go for out of that?
You know what? I think both fighters are so confident and supreme. You couldn't read anything in it. I thought it was a pretty long face-off, to tell the truth. To the point where the security said, "Look, you know, this is baiting it. We've got to pull these guys apart because it's going to blow up." And it just got to the point when they got to the variables. Let's hear what they've got to say now and see how this is handled. But you know, professionalism. These guys are professional fighters that want to get in there and fight.